Ladies and gentlemen, it's here. The time is now. We are ready to talk about one of the most talked about shows, obviously, this entire week. It's another edition of the Midweek War, but it's a special NXT Takeover edition, which is always a fun show. Respect. Tonio Garza is here, who has been joining me throughout this Midweek War.
Hey, man, oh my god, that was...
I just noticed your avatar, and I hate you so much.
Yeah, that's right. That's my new logo. Logo.
Oh, no. Oh, we're going to fight tonight, I swear.
Yeah. This was the best show that WWE has done this year, for many reasons. One is that one.
God. Monster. But oh, wait a minute. Who else is that that's joining us on the show? Sorg, is that you?
What? Where am I? This doesn't look like Thursdays to me. I mean, what is I should be. What the hell do I do on Thursdays? Well, what do I do on Thursdays?
Do we want to know what you do on Thursdays?
We podcast on Thursdays, Maggle, because I just came from another podcast, and I thought I'd join you as well, my dear friends, to talk about the greatest of greatest shows, NXT Takeover Respect.
Yes. This was a fun show, as always. But let's go into it. If you can sum up this event with one word, tell you guys what would that one word be?
I'm actually gonna say respect, because because several wrestlers who had no respect for me earned it. That includes Baron Corbin.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get into Baron Corbin. Sorg, on this, I believe this is your first ever time on the Midweek War.
Really?
It gotta be, I think.
Oh,
I think you were here the first takeover that we did the show.
Yeah, I had to have been on a takeover one before at least. So I have to at least do these ones. So once in a while at least. So.
So what is your one word for takeover?
My word is we'll just combine a word: step up.
Step up.
And really kind of going along those, like a lot of people stepped up to. I'm sure there's a synonym for that or something that is actually one word. I just can't think of it right now. Because the other podcast I just did had beers. So yes, but no, I mean really it is. Or the other word, maybe the more proper word is arrival. I didn't want to use it because it was the name of their old show, but it was like people had something to prove. You know, guys that we've been putting down for a while, and yeah, I think they completely arrived.
They rise to the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
My word is just wow. Wow. Which is what I was saying a lot of the time during the live event. If there was a lot of good on this show, let's go into the one good thing. Your one good thing this week. Your goodest of good things, Tonio Garza.
Okay,
goodest is the word, Sorg.
There's so many things that we can choose. I'm gonna give my good to. Man, who impressed me most, Dana or Baron? Yeah, Baron. Baron Corbin has my good this week.
Baron Corbin was on another level.
Yes. I think it's just like that he went like really high paced, but he looked legit. Like he looked so vicious and so good. He looked better than Rhino. And I'm a super, and I'm actually gonna talk about this later. I was super sad that they defeated Jason and Gable, but I was like, yeah, fucking Corbin deserves that shit. That was good.
I think it was really interesting because like the big profile matches Corbin's had has been against Bull Dempsey, Samoa Joe, and Rhino.
Yep.
To put him in the ring with somebody a little bit younger, a little bit faster, a little bit, somebody that can quicken the pace of the match, he did amazing. And I feel like that was a testament to what Baron Corbin can do. I feel like maybe I'm not getting into the people he's faced, but like I feel like he's been always put into that power role and against another powerful guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know what I think it was like that going fast, but also the fact that Corbin can grab Gable and just throw him around the ring. And he cannot do that to Rhino or Joe or Dempsey. So
that spinning side slam before like oh my god, I lost it. Like and then the finish as well, but
yeah, he made an end of days look like out of nowhere pretty much.
No, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely, I definitely agree. Sorg, what would be your one good for Takeover?
My one good is, geez, I mean, I think it's the obvious one, but that fatigue. That could have been my one word. Was fatigue. I love how utterly destroyed they both looked after the Iron Man match. And how that came across, and not in a way that made anybody look weak or anything, but it just added so much to it, and that they were putting holds on, but they couldn't get it in. Like a lot of times, like, oh, he doesn't have the whole thing on, and it seems like it's a cover for a mess up, right? And
that
it's like,
finish, that finish where she couldn't lock it in fully was the so smart.
Yeah, and bridging, like we've talked about continuity, like selling a thing and making part of the story, and that like she couldn't sink it in because they were working on her hand earlier in the match. It was just so good, and I feel like initially, like, oh, she taps with 3 seconds left, right? She was getting kicked in the freaking head. Like,
yeah, it wasn't because you just chapped and it happened to be 3 seconds.
Like, I can believe that she had no idea what the time was because she was in utter pain and getting kicked in the freaking head. You know what I mean?
Sasha Banks, I mean, both competitors, but Sasha Banks is so intelligent in that ring. The little things that she does is so great. There was one part where she had her in the Boston Crab or whatever, and I love the little parts where, like, it's clear Bayley will get to the bottom rope, but before she reaches the bottom rope, she just abandons the hold and just starts stomping on her head. Like, that's so smart. And it's little things like that I really love about Sasha Banks.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys know that I hate Bayley, but props to her because, going back to what the finish that Sorg was saying, sure, you have Sasha selling that she doesn't even know, but you also have Bayley showing so much urgency to win because she does know the time. So she's not only holding, she starts kicking, just like, get the fuck up.
Just a more aggressive side, like her working on the hand, like Sasha did it in the first match, and the Bayley to belly on the floor, like that stuff was like, okay, we're seeing a new side of Bayley.
Yeah.
Like, it feels like the Iron Man match had affected her in a sense. You know what I mean?
We watched her grow up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
What makes you wonder then, when somebody like her goes to Raw, what do you do beyond that when you've already seen her develop into this?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Which that's a whole other discussion, I know, but it just thread. I'm sorry, Garza. I think I stepped on you.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say that, going back to what you're saying with fatigue. That's something that I really appreciate personally from a match. I used to hate when John Morrison had matches and he wouldn't even sweat. He has so good stamina that he can go through a 30-minute match and he's just like normal. I'm like, this doesn't look real because you just went through a 30-minute match and you're not tired at all. So
yeah, it's not dramatic.
I mean, it's good that the guys right now have like a little stamina and CrossFit and all that stuff, but I need to see my guys sweat and get all messy sometimes.
I think the best part about the match is that I think everyone knew going in that Bayley was going to win. Like, everyone's like, we're like, Sasha's up to the main roster, whatever. They made me buy at one point that Sasha could possibly win. So, like, I literally thought, like, maybe they will give her the belt. Maybe she'll just stay on NXT and do some stuff here or there or whatever. But They really had me at the edge of my seat.
I knew Bailey was gonna win, like hands down, but I was watching the match like next to my clock, and it wasn't summing up. So at one point I was like, I think they're gonna go to sudden death. They're gonna tie and go to sudden death, and yeah, they announced a 30-minute match, but they're gonna go 45 in the hour. But eventually we did get a win and an extra bunch of stuff after, so it kind of paired up. But yeah, during the match, I totally thought that they were gonna go for a tie limit draw.
Yeah.
Isn't that an interesting thing with booking, especially like this? Like, oh, they're going to do this, like 2 out of 3 falls. You know they're going to go.
Yeah,
to
they're
the
going to
third fall.
split it.
You know, like it's so obvious. But then they do something like they need to outbook things. Like, you're like, oh, come on, Bailey's going to win this. Like, it feels like it's obvious to us that have watched wrestling for far too long and kind of know what's going on. But then to say, okay, how are they going to finish this? Oh, they'll go to sudden death, or they'll do this, or she'll do a comeback. But like nobody could have called the way that they ended that thing, right? Like, have we seen anything like that? Not like that, or not in that way. They put their own exclamation. I think out of Iron Man matches, I can't believe there's been 10 of them, and I watched one in person here in Pittsburgh, and I can't remember anything except for Randy Orton trying to blow up John Cena. But other than that, I can't think of anything else that was quite as memorable outside of the first one. And I think that we're going to remember and talk about this one for a long, long time, not just because it was 2 women, but because it was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
It was well booked. Iron Man matches have become really formulaic in the last, I guess, 10 years, probably since Benoit versus Angle, where you have a guy, when you have the heel get so many wins over the face, and then the face comes back. Ooh, and that's it. And I guess since Lucha Underground did theirs, and then now this one, we have been seeing new I guess different ways to book this match, which it's good. It's good to take a match that we all know and kind of give it a new life.
Yeah, definitely. My one good. I was gonna say my good thing for this takeover is kind of twofold with the last 2 matches on the show, and it was a level of respect. I think one of the things I saw a lot. As far as predictions for the women's match was, what if Nia Jax comes out and interferes and beats on Bailey or whatever? Everyone also was predicting that Finn and Joe were going to turn on each other and all that stuff. I like that they didn't do that. I like that we had a straight up finish to the main event with a beautiful ending. And I like that we had a straight up finish to the Dusty Classic, because it was important to have that. It was important to have that moment of, okay, a team has won. This isn't because we're trying to further in line. This is because, whatever. This is for Dusty, or this is for these 2 women in this match. I like that. I like that they go the route of, well, we need to, we've got, what are we going to build to next month? They'll build stuff to next month. They'll build stuff on the weekly show. They let this be a showcase of their talents, and I really do appreciate that.
That is the thing, because how many times after pay-per-views we're like, well, what is they going to build to next? Who's he going to go after this? Well, let's wait till Monday and find out. Let's wait till Wednesday and find out. You know what I mean? Let's just sit on tonight on its laurels, because holy crap, it deserves it.
I don't know why I'm thinking of this, but this is like the best example I can think of to compare the 2. Back at last year's Hell in a Cell. Imagine if we had to finish the Seth and Dean, and then on Raw you started the Bray Wyatt stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
It's almost like when we complain about TNA, they don't let stuff sit after a match. And I feel like isn't WWE kind of doing that too? Because they're like, we gotta do a thing to make you come back next time. It's like, great, can we just sit on this thing happen? Great.
Can we just have this moment?
When's the last decisive ending to a pay-per-view do you remember? You know what I mean? That wasn't I think that's where we're at with that.
I think a lot of people expected a a dusty finish for the dusty match. And
Yes.
I personally hadn't read anything that Cody and Goldust were gonna be there. So I also was anticipating some kind of shenanigans to go at the end. But once I saw like the trophy and the family, I was like, no, this is the perfect ending. This makes the tournament feel so legit. Like I want to see next year's.
I think it's also important to remember, like you may say, well, what's Samoa Joe? What interaction did he have with Dusty, being kind of a newer guy? But I think you also remember Dusty was a big part of TNA for a good period, and I think a good period that Joe was there when he first came in, if my timelines are right in my head. So I think it was really good, and I mean you don't. I mean that's not a thing where you have Cesaro come out and be the Heyman guy and put over I'm the Andre the Giant blah 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 and somebody destroys the trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially since the guy just died. This is a goodwill thing, and I also kind of wonder if it becomes a yearly thing for them.
I think it should.
I hope so.
But I also think, like to your point as well, I think even if the Joe thing, you could argue that, but out of the 8 people that was in those final 8, I would argue the person that had the most connection with Dusty was Balor. Because it was well documented that him and Balor kind of hit it off, and they, I feel like, and not to say, maybe he had a good relationship with the younger guys too. Obviously, he probably, from what I hear, he had a good relationship with everyone. But I feel like it, guys like Gable and Jordan and Dash and Dawson, who were freaking amazing, and Baron Corbin and stuff like that, were still elevated, even though they didn't get the win.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I think the tag division right now is amazing in NXT. Like, there's so many good teams right now. But yeah.
I'm with you, and I think that's something that you could have looked at NXT and be like, what are they doing with the tag teams? But you got to see the big picture of their tag team division, even though they had a kind of a thrown together tag team win or in the finals. You saw the depth of that roster and what they can do with tag teams, and I think that's, and think hopefully some of those tag teams stay together and become tag teams on the main roster like our Ascensions and Lucha. And maybe this is a thing where I watched the rivalries with Dudley's, Hardys, and Edge and Christian. It was mostly Edge and Christian, Hardys, of course. But just like that kind of like look what's happening in the tag division, and we had all these other guys going on too. That it was deep back then. Maybe it was only, but it was deep. And WWE has a really big opportunity to make that, and I think the tag division, to be quite honest, has been it hasn't been like mind blowing, but generally has been very, very good for the last 3 years for WWE probably, and just explode with some of these guys coming up. The Gable and what's his face team is just like my favorite thing right now in NXT, to be quite honest. Yeah, I mean, I just
who would think in a million years, and for those that have like sort of extensively watched NXT, that we would be like gushing over Jason Jordan, Scott Dawson, and Dash Wilder.
Help me figure out what is the intangible. And I understand, like you watch some of his career, the point where you're like, oh, Stone Cold just got it, and you see that he's a different person, right? What is the intangible about him and Gable that makes him just exponentially more interesting than he was with the other guy? And the other guy by himself and shaving a 10 in his head did almost the same thing for him too.
Yeah.
The answer to that is, I think, because I heard it this morning, Jordan has the physique, the look, but he doesn't have Gable's charisma. Gable has the charisma, the mic work, but he doesn't have Jordan's look. It's the perfect complement of two guys right now.
I agree completely. I also think Jordan has been extremely aggressive lately. Like, that hot tag was, like, he was on another level. And, like, the crowd was into him, and, like that's so amazing. And I think I brought this up on a show maybe a couple months ago, the question of, is NXT just being considered this great because of all the independent talent they're bringing in, or can they actually, raise a roster that will raise to that level? And I think they proved at Takeover that they absolutely can.
Yeah. It took a while, but with Dana, Corbin, Jason Jordan, pretty much the whole tag team division, they're proving that it does take time, but the developmental system works.
Yeah, I agree completely. Going into it, what would be your one bad thing for Takeover?
Well, funny that we were talking about this, but my bad thing is actually the booking of the Dusty tournament.
We all love us some Gable and Jordan.
Yeah, I think my biggest problem is that, I mean, aside from what Sorg was saying, that maybe in the Final Four, only really Corbin and Balor had like a real connection. But I mean, we all knew everyone respects Dusty. But my biggest problem was that at the end of the tournament, the two random teams are the ones defeating the legit teams, including the tag team champions. So I don't know how to feel about that.
In fairness, a legit team did beat the tag team champions of the tournament, but yeah.
It just didn't feel right, I guess, for me that the two teams that have been teaming up for at least 1 month have defeated the teams that have been teaming up for a bunch of time. And
yeah.
I think when this really started, I was kind of sure that the final two were going to be Enzo and Cass and Jason and Jordan. I mean, Jason and Jordan and Gable.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have been.
That didn't happen.
Yeah, I would have been so happy with Gable and Jordan having the upset win. I don't care if it's an upset, but just a win. And I guess I was surprised that Dash and Dawson made it this high, but I don't know. It just felt weird that the two final teams were not actual tag teams.
It's still, they were kind of like super teams, and it's like the Stone Cold John Cena, or no, I'm mixing it up. Like Stone Cold Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Kind of team ups.
Yeah, you're right.
Like they become better just because they're exponentially the two
top guys.
The two top guys, and that just works more. You know what I mean? Like they have higher experience points just in general, and that just adds up versus their, I mean, it's a different kind of math, I guess.
I will say this, as far as like making sure the guys got put over still, Gable and Jordan obviously did, and got put over in the loss. Dash and Dawson as well, because they did a post-show interview on the YouTube channel, and they mentioned like we were the guys that took out Balor's leg. We were the guys that took out the NXT champion's leg. I think that's great. Like that's really cool. And yeah, I think they'll be fine. I do agree. I guess if it was more about Dusty, I mean, compared to what you think, if it's more about like Dusty or also like the fact that it is tag teams, I feel like if Dusty had a singles tournament, this would be, more obvious. But yeah, I can definitely see what you're saying. Sorg, what would be your one bad thing for Takeover?
Jeez, not enough Asuka.
Asuka.
The bad thing is I can never figure out how to pronounce her name, even after.
Just don't pronounce the U.
Asuka. Plus, there's the Oksana thing that Bobby started on Mayhem.
And Bobby is messing everybody up.
He's kind of ruined me for that. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Like, probably the weakest match was the Tyler Breeze match, and that's not a bad match. It
was a great match.
It was a tremendous match, but it was the less greatest match of the night, which isn't saying anything. I like just the tempo of everything. This isn't what the question. I'm not answering the question anymore.
No, that's fine.
But no, it was kind of not enough. Not enough of Asuka.
I'll quickly say my bad was that it's not that it was 2 hours and not 3 hours. That's quickly my bad because I want to go back because I want to quickly go back to what Sorg said. Because Sorg, I want to get your opinion. First time watcher, first time watching Asuka perform. I mean, what are your thoughts? I just want to get for someone who has never seen Kana,
I like it so much. I like it so. Okay, this is my problem right now. I said this to my wife last night. Of all people, I told this to my wife that I can't pick a favorite right now. I thought Paige was going to be my next Lita, and then Becky Lynch came around. I'm like, that's my next Lita, and now Asuka came along and is just freaking amazing. I can't pick one. They're all too amazing. You know, I'm coming around on Sasha. Charlotte's just mind blowing. You know what I mean? Like you know, when people ask me who my favorite wrestler is, I don't really have an answer for them, and I can't even tell you who my favorite like current wrestling diva is right now, because I just like them as a whole at this point, at least like this segment of them. And even, you got to be honest, the Bellas aren't half bad these days. Yeah. I mean, they're not Charlotte, they're not these other girls, but they're also not bra and panties Bellas from 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
100%.
I mean, that's. I think that speaks a lot, and the talent is there, and we saw last night what you can do when you let them go. And, geez, my bad thing is that this isn't happening on Raw.
Yeah.
And at pay-per-views that some people are still paying $60 for.
I gotta just, with that as well, give so much credit in the world to Dana Brooke, who...
I told ya! I told ya!
In fairness, when my opinion was on Dana Brooke, she was pretty bad in the ring. But she looks so comfortable in there. Like...
It's that click. It's that click, just like the other guys we were talking about, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because of her role in the match or because of who she was working with, but something clicked. Now, I think for her, for Corbin, I think the trick is going to be, does this happen in throwaway match NXT pre-tape Wednesday? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, does this keep up, or was this a golden thing that happened with her here with that person? Just like, wow, John Cena had a great match. Yeah, he worked Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? But still, I think still a lot of respect to Cena. I don't think it's more. I think it's more than just that for him specifically. But is this just great chemistry for the night, or did these people, again, this is developmental, did you just watch them turn the corner? Did you just watch these people turn from Ringmaster into Stone Cold Steve Austin? Of sorts.
I just really commend her for just her being so comfortable in that ring, especially like that opening sequence where like they're doing the wrist lock exchange and Asuka's just so fast and so quick and like she's keeping up with her, and I think the part that immediately sold me was when Dana went charging in, Asuka did the flying armbar. So amazing. Like, I was blown away. I really was. And for those that did not see the backstage promo that they filmed for the YouTube channel.
This afternoon.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, so she's lying out there, and they're checking on her, and she like pops her head up. It's like, I beat her, right? I beat her so quick. I beat her so quick. And Emma's like, check her head. And then Asuka comes in and like talks to her, and she's like, and
does the pat on the head, which is very
her on the head. Just comes in and is a Japanese wrestler. Can I just put it that way? Like just like those kinds of things. And yeah, it's just tremendous. And I hope that is a common thread. Maybe there's something that happens that she thinks she's somebody else now. You know, I would be okay if like just Dana Brooks becomes like a pretty Festus character somehow, or something. You know, just
I also love that they're really selling like the crazy look that kind of like how she gave the look to Emma or whatever. My fantasy booking concept would be that Devin Taylor discovered some sort of magic to where she can infiltrate the body of Asuka, because this is all just revenge for all the times Dana Brooks pat her on the head during interviews. Like I love that. Great. It's really great. The stuff with it's clear the women's division is going to be perfectly fine with Sasha and Charlotte and Becky gone.
Nothing to worry about here. It's in the capable hands of Daddy Triple H.
Yes, yes, indeed. Yeah, definitely. Let's go through what you would change about NXT this week. Tonio?
My change, I guess a lot of people are gonna disagree on this, but I would have closed the show with Bailey celebrating in the ring, and I would have done the whole goodbye Sasha as a post-show thing, because one, the last takeover we already had like a really heartfelt thing at the end, and Bailey, I didn't feel she got to celebrate in this show. So I guess I just would cut the show and then do the rest for the post show, because I did feel like they stole Bailey's thunder, and I definitely do not want to set a precedent that every takeover we're gonna end with a heartfelt segment. So
Yeah, I feel that. I think the. I'm trying to think the ones that haven't. I think the first Sasha Charlotte match didn't have like the heartfelt sort of like ender thing. I think they just like ended it. And I think Sasha Becky. I think those were the only two that didn't have like a handshake / thing at the end.
Sasha Becky had Becky stay crying while everyone was singing her song. So
that's true.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that was more of a natural.
But something authentic is happening there. You know what I mean? Like, this is a thought I had while watching this show that Full Sail, they're very boisterous. They're becoming an ECW arena to a point, right?
Yeah, they already are.
Sometimes they're assholes, and
sometimes they create amazing things too, like chanting Gable to the theme of Kurt Angle's theme, which was amazing.
I thought that's what I was hearing. Like, Gable, are they singing Gable? Wait, is that what? No, that's fantastic.
The Patriots theme. What am I thinking?
The Patriots.
You could tell that the Full Sail guys were so like butthurt, I guess, that the previous takeover was in Brooklyn, that they made sure that this show was gonna be amazing because of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were like, we're not gonna let any match go down. We're gonna chant ourselves to death.
I want to point out. I'm sorry. I want to point out. Sorry, I thought I caught a break there. I want to point out, friend of the show, Justin LeBar, with locally here with the Trib, and of course, Share Shot Reality. He was in the crowd, and I know he took a picture of. By the way, he manages Rhino as the IWC champion in IWC, which will be coming up here in a couple weeks on Breakable Core Time. Check it out, or on DVD at IndieWrestling.us. I've done my duties. But I know I saw the tweet earlier, and he has an article up. I haven't read the article yet, but he said definitely like one of the best experiences he's had in pro wrestling was watching that show. So
they were fun. But they were never. I don't think they ever stepped out of line.
No.
The crowd wise. They weren't the "We Are Awesome" crowd chants.
No.
Can
we discuss the work shoot that is the Bailey kid?
I was going to get to that. I was going to get to that in mind, but quickly, Sorg, what would you change about NXT Takeover?
Oh, what would I change? Yes, I would make it a 60-minute Iron Man match.
Yeah.
Although I don't know if anything would be left of them at that point. And side note, if we can throw in what I learned from this show,
Sure.
Bailey's hairdo has a 20-minute time limit.
I have noticed that.
Boom! Which just added to everything. Like, both of them looked like any of them could have walked down the hall and looked like they were doing a walk of shame of a very rough night. You know what I mean? Like, they were just so worn out at the end of that thing. But yeah, you still just kind of wanted more. But again, it was the right thing, and it might have been. It was the most entertaining Iron Man match I've ever watched.
Awesome. This goes to my change. Sasha, you are a monster, and I love you. Backstory. I watched Takeover Live on my school campus because I've had Wi-Fi issues where I've been before, so I wanted to make sure I got this clear.
Went to school and said, "I'm watching this thing where it's reliable at school."
Yeah. I was gonna make a scene. I nearly lost it. Like I was so unbelievably emotional during that moment. And I think it's also a testament to the NXT crowd, because there were people cheering Sasha Banks. You know,
Right.
Sasha Banks is awesome, duh.
Yeah.
But you could see the reactions on the crowd and listen to their reactions when it happened. But for those that didn't watch, she snatched Izzy's headband off of her head and mocked her with it, making her cry. And the crowd reaction was just like, "What the?" Like it wasn't like this is. There was probably some fans that were like, "This is amazing," but it was like, "Oh no, this is wrong."
You're like, this got real. This got really real. Wait, I also
this
think
went too far.
also got to think that how much of that, what percentage of that crowd is a regular crowd, and it's not a large crowd. So what percentage of that crowd knows the girl from being on TV and always in the corner
Yeah.
and says hi to her coming in? You know how it is at an indie show. Like you practically know all the regulars, and especially since featured on TV. This is an indie show, guys. So like everybody is like 2 degrees from this girl basically by being in the crowd, and it was like a personal attack. You know.
Yes.
On Full Sail University audience members, not just that little girl in the audience, and respect to the dad trying not to smile.
Yeah.
Like you saw he's just like, like he's trying to kayfabe it a little bit because he's just realizing the situation that's happening in front of him.
Well, the best part was because before she takes the headband, there's one part where like she jaws to her. Like when she throws Bailey into the steps, and the dad was kind of like shocked by it. You could see the mom though was like about to haul off. She was about to go off.
I was confused. That group there, like that's just a fan group, right? That's not her family.
No, that's her family.
No, that's her family, and it was Bailey's dad that was also there. Like they are related. Izzy's not related to Bailey.
No.
They're a different family, but sitting next to them was Bailey's dad and I believe another relative member of Bailey.
Okay, because I got confused on that because something alluded to it being family, and I'm like, I thought she was just a fan. They just talked about her number one fan. I didn't think they alluded to any relation. So
yeah, I believe like the real older dude that was in that section or whatever was Bailey's dad.
Okay.
But and as she like works on Bailey in the ring afterwards, she got a huge Sasha's Ratchet chant, and I usually hate that chant, but that chant was deserved. It was so deserved. Yeah, and I love that about Sasha Banks is that she's not afraid to work heel, and she isn't like the stigma with indie wrestlers is like I'm a heel, but I'm the cool heel where everyone loves me. Like she's not afraid to be hated, and I love that.
This is a day and the age that you have to almost literally kick puppies in order to actually be hated, and she kicked the puppy hard.
Yeah. She would it was one short of like literally just kicking Izzy. Like that's all she had to do. But no, yeah, it was amazing. It added to the drama of the match, obviously, and it was really phenomenal. I like that Sasha. I love that Sasha worked heel.
Yeah. I love that. I got wait, side back. Is that the most shocking thing you've seen since Snitsky punted a baby in the audience?
Yes. Yes. It was something. And I love that also as well is that like the only 2 falls that Sasha Banks got in the match was by countouts and a poke to the eye and a roll up. Yep. Like that's kind of cool. Yeah, I don't have enough good things to say. Apparently, from reports from the show after they went off the air, Sasha gave Izzy her bouquet of flowers, which was nice. Yeah. And Izzy or her dad who's on Twitter like posted a response to @Sasha Banks with Izzy just holding a sign that said, "Sasha, next time just ask for my headband." And so it's nice. It's nice. I'm glad she didn't scar her for life. But yeah. I guess any other. I know we're kind of going long, but this is. I mean, I think it's fair that we go long on this.
I think we covered it pretty good. I was pretty freaking amazing, and that's if you're like worrying about WWE these days, you shouldn't. It's the future's bright for them. If this is a glimpse of this is what happens when Triple H is in charge. Yeah.
I also feel like Sasha Banks in particular, I feel like there's no way they're going to mess her up. I feel like she's bulletproof. I feel like she has such innate ability and innate personality to where she will find a way to maintain herself on the main roster.
Breaking news. So I can't believe I'm seeing this, but this is from WWE NXT on Facebook. But James Storm just showed up. The NXT.
Yeah, that was tweeted out by NXT because they're doing their tapings tonight. Yeah, James Storm. It was literally just there were some rumors that were coming out about it like yesterday, and then it's like, oh, James Storm's here. What? I'm interested to see. I heard he got a huge pop, so
Hey,
good for him.
He's used to working right down the road, so.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So definitely. I think the next couple weeks going into the next takeover are going to be amazing, and the next takeover is going to be in the UK, so it'll be another big one. So yeah, I'm excited.
Dude, Finn Balor. Oh, Finn Balor is gonna have an incredible match that night.
I feel there's one match that everyone on the internet is hoping happens, based off of the way storylines go, and I feel like it could be unbelievable matchup.
Regal versus Breeze.
Yeah. If they do Regal versus Breeze, that's going to be phenomenal.
Holy crap, I just got chills.
Yeah, Regal's retirement match. It's perfect.
It's not just because I watched Bryce Remsburg do a head Sears on Chuck Taylor, by the way.
from our good friends at Inspire Pro Wrestling.
That's right. I
think it's safe to say we all ranked this number one this week. I mean...
There's no question.
You gotta. You're the least favorite thing that you have in professional wrestling. Tonio cried in front of you. How can you not rank this number one?
Yeah, this was number one for me. Like I said, the other shows, they were all good, but this is just like an NXT takeover and easy cry. So
yeah.
My life is complete.
This is the WrestleMania of Wednesday Night Wrestling.
Yeah.
every 2 months. You know what I mean? So, wow.
Definitely. So yeah, that was this week's NXT Takeover Respect review, part of the Midweek War. Sorg, where can they find us? I love that I'm passing it out to you right now because I hate doing this section because I always forget stuff.
Oh, then let me spoil you. I'll tell you what you do. You go to WrestlingMayhemShow.com. I don't have to say all the funny names. I don't have to do all the tricks. There's video, there's audio. You can subscribe to all the buttons right there on the right at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You can also contact us good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. And I believe that phone number is 412-206-WMS0. Please check out the rest of the Midweek Wars that don't include me. It's okay. They're still good. And the other shows, including our Raw wrap-ups, Indie Mayhem show, where we had some great interviews the last few weeks, and the Wrestling Mayhem show that we talk about the rest of wrestling, and everything comes together there. That's our main show, and so much more. Fantastic columns, killer articles by our friend in the mainstream media, Matt Carlins. And please check out our friends, Slice on Broadway, if you're in the Pittsburgh area, IndieWrestling.us, where you can see some names, and some of the names we talked about tonight before they were stars, and so much more. I'm at Sorgatron on the Twitters.
Tony Garza.
You can find me at DW Revolution at the Twitters. You can go to TheWrestlingRevolution.com to read the review of NXT Takeover Respect. Or you can join me also in Patreon. Go make an account and look up Wrestling Mayhem Show and give those guys $1. They're pretty used to it, so it's worth it. You can also find Panel Riot there, so give that guy $1 because he needs to read comics for his show, and comics aren't free.
No, they are not. And you can also follow me on Twitter at Eamon2Please, and check out Inspire Pro Wrestling to see the stuff I do in the commentary, independent wrestling world of things. Go check out the stuff that we're doing over there. Yeah, for myself and Sorgatron and Antonio Garza, this has been the NXT Takeover Midweek War. We will see you next NXT Takeover. How in the hell are we going to top this?